Okay, perfect. Well, welcome. Our class has officially started. So good. And we have 3 people today. I'm very happy about that. So that's great. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to be talking about how to tell someone we have good or bad news. So this is good for at work. This is good for personal lives. This is a little bit of kind of more in-depth English here. It's not just vocabulary or grammar or something like that. It's how to use the intonation of your voice, which words to use, etc. Okay, so let me go ahead and screen share if I can. This one. So just a moment. As always, it takes me a second to get this here and share. Perfect. All right, so I will make this a little bit bigger if possible so we can read. Nope, I think the other one was better. Perfect. Well, wonderful. So functional language, giving and responding to good and bad news, okay? So what I'd like is, maybe if Marco, if you could read this paragraph for us. Is it big enough for you?
Okay, Becky, it would be a pleasure.
Great.
Okay, I start. There are times when we need to give people news. The news could be either good or bad. There are specific ways in which we do this by using set phrases or certain words. If it is good news, then you need to know how to emphasize it correctly and sound positive, without being over the top or too dramatic. On the other hand, if it's bad news, then you need to know how to soften the blow and sympathize with the person.
Okay. So very good here. And let me see, are there any words in here that you don't know or phrases? Because there's one I'm going to ask about. Anything here that we don't understand? No? All right, well, can someone explain what soften the blow means? This. Soften the blow. Does anyone have any idea what that could mean?
Yeah, maybe a blow in this sense kind of, how can I say, punch or attack. So to soften that shock.
Exactly. So the blow here is the bad news. Okay, that's the big kind of surprising part. That's a blow. A blow can also mean hit, for example. So that's kind of what they're referring to. And to soften, well, soft means something that is, how do I explain soft? Not hard. And so they're trying to make this situation easier for you to understand. And then obviously sympathize with you. What is sympathize? Any ideas?
Yes, I have an idea about sympathize. Sympathize is a verb that means more or less to be closer to a person, especially when you want, for example, for a loss, no, to say some words to giving some condolence or, or things like that. You know, you want to be closer. You want to show your closeness, your togetherness to that person that living a bad spell, bad moments.
Exactly. So thank you. That was a really good explanation. Sympathize is when you kind of put yourself in the person's shoes and understand their position in the situation. Okay, so maybe if it's at work, the person is going to be fired or let go. So then, the boss might say, I'm really sorry. I know this isn't what you want, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they kind of help ease, as well as soften the blow, make it easier for you. Okay, So good. Any other questions in here with the paragraph before we move on to the next slide?
What does the being over the top in this context?
Okay, being over the top is maybe being too enthusiastic. So they're saying when you do tell someone, you need to emphasize correctly, because if you say, hey, we are going to do this, I am so excited, this is going to be wonderful, and you're not really like understandable,
Okay.
that's a little bit too much. And then maybe you can tell that they're being fake or not true to the situation.
Okay.
Okay. So I can see definitely when Americans are being like, oh my God, are you so serious? That's like amazing. That to me is like the worst thing ever. So I can say it because I'm American. So, but things like that, or just when you can tell that someone is just being nice and they're agreeing with you or something like that. Oh yeah, okay. So perfect. Okay, so what I'll do now is we'll go to the next slide. Oops, no, we're going to go down before we go to the next slide. Here we go. Okay. So let's start with the good news. We always like the good news first. Ken, can you help us and go ahead and read some variations on what we can say?
Okay. You are not going to believe it, but guess what? You are not going to believe what I am about to tell you, but I've got some good, great, wonderful, splendid news for you. I'm really pleased to tell you. You know what? I've got some great news for you.
Very good. All right, Ken, I love when you read. You sound like you have this American accent too. So
Thank you. I tried to.
So, well, it works. It works. So very good. Okay, so I'm lacking a little bit of enthusiasm, Ken. I know you're very excited to be here and in class today, but we can always improve in your intonation. So let me give this a try. So you're not going to believe, hold on. You're not going to believe it, but guess what? For example, okay? You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you, but... All right, do you want to try that again, Ken?
You're not gonna believe it, but guess what? Maybe gonna is more colloquial, right?
Yeah, it is. It's
Going
easier for you to say
to,
gonna than
yeah,
not going
okay.
to.
I got it.
Do you want to try another one?
Yeah. Okay, you're not gonna okay, you're not gonna believe what I'm telling about. I'm tell about it. Oh my gosh, you're
I
not
know.
gonna believe what I'm about to tell you about.
Happens to me too, Ken. I can't read and express myself at the same time, apparently. I've got some wonderful news for you.
I've got some wonderful news for you.
Yeah, you can insert any adjective there. It's easier to say one. I'm really pleased to tell you this is a little bit more formal, so I wouldn't say this quite so fast. And there's really nothing to make shorter here except for the I'm. So I'm really pleased to tell you.
I'm really pleased to tell you.
And the last one is probably my favorite. You know what? I've got some great news for you.
You know what? I've got some great news for you.
Perfect. Marco, are you feeling left out? Do you want to try?
Yes, of course. It's really nice and funny to try.
Intonation is very important in English.
Yes, definitely. But probably for us English learner, it's quite difficult,
Difficult?
compared to you, because of course when you speak, in your normal pace, you link the words. For us it's not so easy, to link
Of
the
course.
word. Yeah. But I'm very happy to try. Okay.
Okay.
I started with the first one. Oh, you are not going to believe it, but guess what? The first. The second, we're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you, but that was a bit difficult.
Yeah.
I got some good, splendid news for you. Or I got some wonderful news for you. Please come close to me. That's what I invented. Okay. The last, but not one, in my opinion, it's more formal. It could be. Um, I'm really pleased to tell you, for example, it could be, and the last one, you know what? I got some great news for you. More or less.
Exactly. Very good. Well, our new friend decided to disappear, unfortunately. But this is very good for just in general, like you said, Marco. It's very difficult for non-native English speakers to link their words, to connect the words and everything. And I completely understand. It happens to me in Spanish. Now that I've been here for a while, it gets better. It has been getting better, I should say. And so these are things that it's great to practice. And like I said, the intonation, sometimes you feel like you're going above and beyond or a little bit too much, but that's kind of the fun part too.
Sorry if I interrupt you. Just to make a point, probably if I should improvise to tell someone a good news, probably I don't know if I use these exactly words, no, because of course these are embedded, no, phrases.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in a natural way, you it's quite impossible to remember exactly, the order of the words. So probably I try to invent something new or something that is more related to my language, even in English, probably. But it's a good attempt.
Well, the same thing with me. If I don't understand how to say something in Spanish, the correct form or structure, I translate that from English. I mean, there's really no other way. It's just, trial and error. You have to do it. So I completely understand. Yeah, and so some of these I would definitely, I'm really pleased to tell you, like, we've agreed that's more formal. I wouldn't use that, but I think the first one, you're not going to believe it, but guess what? Kind of that. Yes. Good. And Ahmed, is that how you pronounce your name?
Ahmed Diab.
Well, nice to see you. Do you want to try reading these with the intonation?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, perfect.
So let's start with the good news. Here's some variations. You are not going to believe it, but guess what? You are not going to believe what I am about to tell you, but I have got some good, great, wonderful, splendid news for you. I am real pleased to tell you. You know what? I have got some great news for you.
Very good. So thank you. So we're just talking about how difficult it is sometimes for non-native English speakers to say things quickly. If we need to translate from our original or native language or mother tongue, we can also say that's what we do. But these are just some suggestions. Okay, with some good news. So let's go ahead here. We'll go down until the next slide. Okay, so this is for responding. Okay, and I'm going to have all of you do this again. So let me go first. Then we'll go in order this time. We'll go Marco, and then Ken, and then Ahmed. Okay, so the first, here are some options for responding to the good news. Wow, that's amazing. What great, fantastic, incredible, wonderful, splendid news. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Okay, so these are ways that we can respond. This A should not be capital. That's a mistake, just to let everyone know. Okay, so Marco, we'll start with you. Why don't you go ahead and read these for us,
Yes,
okay?
yes. I love trying to repeat. Wow, that's amazing. What great, fantastic, incredible, wonderful, splendid news.
Good.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Fantastic. There's a lot of adjectives in that second.
reading these three ones was quite easy compared to the previous ones.
Well, good. I'm glad that was easier for you. So, Ken, it is your turn. Show us what you got.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing. What great, fantastic, incredible, wonderful, splendid news. That's amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Fantastic. I love all of those adjectives together. We normally obviously wouldn't say so many adjectives, but those definitely sound great together. All right, so very good. And our new friend today, go ahead and read for us too, please. You can read all of them. Okay, Ahmed, do you want to read? Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Whoa, that's amazing. That's great. That's amazing. I am so happy for you.
Good. Okay, so no challenge with all of the adjectives, but that's okay. So very good. See, these again are different ways that we can respond. Okay. And so obviously it depends on the situation. If you think, this is at work, you've received some good news. Maybe you got a promotion. Maybe you're getting paid more. Maybe you got a bonus. You have holidays, something like that. So these are ways, that's amazing news. Are you kidding? That's so great. So there are so many different ways that we can express ourselves in English. Can we think of other ways that we could, react to good news? Anything else? I'm just going to type in here. Are you kidding? Which basically means, are you joking? Okay. What are other ways that we can respond? Or how would you naturally respond?
Maybe awesome.
Mm-hmm. Good. You can say, what? That's awesome news.
That's awesome. That's cool. Well, yeah.
Marco, really? Are you sure? Absolutely. You can definitely say that too. Depends. Again, it totally depends on the context. So very good. Well, perfect. Well, that will just depend on the situation. So if we go down to the next slide here. Now we're going to be talking about the bad news. So this is break bad news. This is basically an expression that we use to say how you tell someone bad news. You have to break the news to them. Okay? So, well, I think this whole reading things goes well. I'll maybe read these first, and then I'll have everyone else read. Okay? I think that's really good practice for us. So, the first one says, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. I'm so sorry to have to say this, but I really feel bad to have to tell you this, but I really don't know how to tell you this. Okay? So these are different ways that we can basically start the bad news situation. Okay? So let's see. Well, let's go in the same order here. Marco, why don't you go first and you can read those for us. And I do see your other expression, I can't believe you, I would say, not in you.
Okay, I have to reduce the tone of my voice, of course. I'm afraid I got some bad news for you. I'm so sorry to have to say this, but I really feel bad to have to tell you this, but sorry, I really don't know how to tell you this.
Wow, you've convinced me so much. I'm worried what you're going to tell me next. So, Marco, that was wonderful. And yes, you do have to lower your voice, as we saw on the first slide, when we're saying some bad news, because your tone of voice as well as your intonation is very important. Okay, so very good, Marco. You get an A+ for that. Ken, Ken, what about you? Can you tell us how you would tell someone bad news, please?
Okay. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you. I'm so sorry to have to say this, but I really feel bad to have to tell you this, that I really don't know how to tell you this.
Okay, so very good. Also very serious and very somber. So very good, Ken. Thank you. Ahmed, do you?
Yeah.
Do you want to try reading these as well?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I am afraid I have got some bad news for you. I am so sorry to have to say this, but I really feel bad to have to tell you this, but I really don't know how to tell you this.
Okay, perfect. So again, very, very good here. Any questions about this? Of course, there are many different ways that we can say the similar expressions, but these are just some of the basics. Okay. So any questions or comments? No? No?
No.
All right, perfect. Well, with that then, let's go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Becky. I want to emphasize another important things. When you have to tell someone about bad news. It's important how to express your face and your gesture. Your mimic. Because of course words are more important, but also how you present yourself. It's related. I think. I wanted
Exactly.
to say all this my fault.
No, and I completely agree with you. I think it's very, very important for, there's also a phrase in English that we use. It's get down to their level. So get down to their level is basically put yourself in their shoes. Understand them, understand what you're going to tell them, say it nicely. There's so many different ways that, or you don't have to. I mean, if you're not a very caring person and you don't want to say it nicely, sure, you can just say, yeah, no, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're fired. You can say something like that, but obviously that's not what we really want. We're trying to be nice here. So good. Well, Marco, I definitely appreciate the comment. So it looks like now we're going to look. Oh, here we go. See how to respond to bad news. Okay, so we'll just continue with how we were doing this before. I'll go ahead and read these, and then everyone else can read too. Okay. All right, so I'm terribly or awfully sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do? That's so awful. I'm so sorry. I can't believe it. That's a pity. That's unfortunate. I know how you must be feeling. Please accept my deepest sympathy. Okay, so some of these are, it depends obviously on the situation. So the first one sounds like really, really, really bad news. This is pretty bad here. And then the second one is relatively neutral. That's so awful. Obviously, you're using a very good adjective here to kind of emphasize that it's really terrible. Now, I can't believe it is could be used for something positive too. Okay, so we don't exactly know. That's a pity is a lot. I would say used for more of a normal everyday situation, something that's negative but not obviously terrible. That's unfortunate, I think would be the same thing. I really like, I know how you must be feeling, because that gets you to their level. It says, I understand you in this situation. I was in the same situation, let's say 5 years ago, for example. So it helps you, as Marco said, relate and connect to that person. Okay. And then the last one, the deepest sympathy here, definitely sounds like maybe someone passed away, something really, really, really bad happened. Maybe you found out someone has cancer or something like that. That one sounds terrible. So, okay, well, even though this isn't a necessarily positive part of the class today, Marco, would you do me the favor and please put on your acting face again and go ahead and read these for us. Okay.
As my usual, it would be a pleasure to read, to try to play this role. Okay. I'm terribly, awfully sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do? That's so awful. I'm sorry. I can't believe it. That's a pity. That's unfortunate. I know how you must be feeling. Please accept my deepest sympathy.
Very good. And again, I don't want to know what you have to tell me after you're telling me these. So very good, Marco.
Thanks.
Ken, looks like it's your turn again. Put your sad face on here.
Okay. I'm terribly, awfully sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do? That's so awful. I'm sorry. I can't believe it. That's a pity. That's unfortunate. I know how you must be feeling. Please accept my deepest sympathy.
Very good. Sounds terrible, Ken. You know, you sound wonderful for the moment, but it sounds like you're going to, it sounds like something terrible's happening. So you've convinced me, all right. And let's see here. Ahmad, do you want to go ahead and read these two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have a badness, so my voice will not be clearly. I am terrible. Sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do? That's so awful. I am sorry. I can't believe it. That's a pity. That's unfortunate. I know how must be feeling. Please accept my deepest sympathy.
Okay, very good here. So all of you have convinced me. You've all, as Marco said, you've touched my heart and soul, or touched my, we say heart and soul, in the opposite order. But anyway, that's the point, is that this is very, you know, if you can feel, oh no, you know, that sinking, terrible feeling inside when something bad is happening. Okay, so let's continue on here. I don't think there's really much else we need to talk about here.
I have
Yeah?
a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you explain what's the meaning of pity? The exact meaning.
Okay, pity. Ooh, pity's a little difficult here. How would you explain pity? That you feel bad for something. Say, oh, that's a pity. That's basically saying I'm sorry. Ken or Marco, is there any other way that you would explain pity? I don't think I did very good here.
Maybe.
Yes. Oh, please, Ken. Please.
I just said it's a bit light, but poor. Maybe.
Okay, well, I would also say that you feel bad for the person. It's just showing that you feel compassion. Marco, what did you want to say?
No, of course, surely, like Ken and Hamad, all of us, we have a specific word, no, in our language, in our own language.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I have it in my mind. As you said, Becky, it's not so easy to explain, no? But it's something like when you can't do something you want, no, strongly, and for some unlucky happenings or situation, what you were desiring, no, or wishing, doesn't happen. So it's an expression. It's like an exclamation, no? Oh, I am so unlucky. It's a pity. It's something that it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
More or less.
Difficult, right? So basically, you put yourself in the person's shoes. Oh, that's a pity. That's too bad. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. Does that help? Ahmad, does that help you? Well, I hope so. Because, yes, it is a bit difficult. So, okay. Too far. Here we go. Okay. So, nope, too far again. Here we go. So, now you're going to practice using the phrases in the correct context. All right. So, we're going to look at each situation or the comment and respond in the appropriate way. Okay. So let me do this with Ken, for example. We'll start with Ken. So Ken, you're B. You're just going to read basically, okay, in this one. So I'm going to say, my pet died the other day.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Are you okay?
It's actually a terrible example because I love my cats and my guinea pigs, so I don't like that example. But yes, yeah, I did hear that, Ken, that I did hear it in your voice that you're very sorry. So, okay. Now, what I'd like to do with the second one, a bit more challenging. Let's see. Ahmad, are you able to read the first line here, the A? And then Marco, your challenge of today will be to find the correct answer, the appropriate one, okay? We'll see if Ahmad if we're able to hear him. Maybe not. Okay, doesn't sound like it. So Ken, you'll take his place. Ken, you can be A, read the first sentence, and then Marco, you can find the correct response.
I can't believe it, but I got that job I was telling you about.
Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. How wonderful it is.
What splendid news.
What splendid news. I can't believe, as you said. Me too.
Exactly. So very good. Super convincing, Marco. I completely agree with your responses here.
Especially in these hard times. I can't believe.
I know. Well, so that's wonderful. So let's see here the next one brings. Okay. So in this situation, you have to tell your friend some, let's see, the first one says, good news about your recently published work. And then B says bad news about a mutual friend. So we'll do a role play here because Ahmed isn't 100%, the speaking thing is an issue. Ken and Marco, your recently found love for role plays will help you with this. I'd like you, I don't know who I want to start with. Maybe Ken, just because Marco, you're falling in love with role plays, so we're almost there. So Ken, I want you to choose a situation, do not tell us, and just start. All right, okay. But it has to be either situation A or situation B, okay?
Okay.
So whenever you're ready, you'll be doing the role play with Marco, and you just say, hey, Marco, da-da-da. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions?
No. Mutual friend. What's mutual friend mean?
Mutual means someone that you have in common. So it's like, let's say Thomas. You know, that if Thomas is, or me, I suppose, someone that you both have in common as a friend.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Marco.
Hello. Hello, Ken.
Yeah. Actually, I got some news. I cannot believe it. Wow.
Yes, tell me. What happened?
Yeah, I applied my work to publish, and publisher admitted to publish my book. So I can release my book. Oh my gosh.
Wow, Ken. I can't believe in your words. I am so happy. I'm so chuffed. I am really excited to get this news from you. My best compliments, and please keep on doing this kind of things. Don't give up, never.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes.
No, for you, this another.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. So if the book after the book published, I'm gonna give you my book. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and really, I'm waiting to receive your book because I want to read it from the first page to the last one. Again,
wow.
my best compliments. I didn't imagine that you was so good writer. But I am really, really happy for you, and even for me, because I am your friend. So receiving good news for you, for me, it's like I had written this book myself. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Val. Yeah, promise I gonna
Yeah.
give you book. Yes, so thank you. See you later.
See you. Looking forward to
Oh
receive
yeah, thank
your
you.
book. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right. Well, very, very good. That was fantastic. So great expressions, good situation. All right. So now what I want to do is the opposite. Marco, you're going to control. Hello, Ismael.
Yeah, my
We have a
job
huge
probably.
group today.
Yeah. Probably I'm not so not used, about this kind of things because unfortunately, uh, time to time I have to give bad news to people.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sure that is.
but fortunately now it's only playing a role, so I can do that with more relaxation.
Well, go
Okay.
ahead and think of a light situation, nothing too serious. I want to say hello to Ismael because he doesn't always get time to talk. So hi, Ismael.
No, because
Hi everybody. Hi Marco.
Oh, bye. Nice to see you. Nice to have you here with us.
Thank you. It's nice for me. It's a surprise for me because you are a teacher.
Yeah.
Rebecca, where are you?
I'm here, I promise.
Yes, I heard you. I heard you. Good conversation for me.
Perfect. Well, in that case, Marco, why don't you go ahead? You can start the other conversation, the bad news, like I said, with Ken, because Ismael probably won't want to contribute.
I'll try to get lower, the bad news, because normally, working in a hospital, I am quite used, to giving this bad news, but I want to give Ken not so bad news.
Exactly.
Okay.
Do you need some ideas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Ken, my friend, can you hear me?
Me? Sorry.
Yeah, yes, you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Oh yeah. Hi, Marco.
Yeah, hi, Ken.
I'm
It's
really
nice.
feeling
It's
fine
nice
now.
to hear your voice. But
Nice to hear you.
yes,
Oh yeah.
I am always happy when I can speak with you. But today, in this moment, I'm so sorry. I have to give you some bad news about one of our mutual friend. Yes, but don't be too sorry, because don't be too worried or afraid, because fortunately they are not so bad news. Only this one. Our common friend Tom has recently lost his keys, his home keys. So yeah, and the other day, just the other day, sorry, 2 hours ago, he phoned me because he didn't find these keys. So he didn't know how to get in their home. So I called you because I want to know if you could know some I don't know, some people that work in some shop that they can enter or can force the door in order to enter in his home. Do you know any people that can do that kind of work?
Yeah, I think So to some people cannot get in his house, but this that what this that what you said.
Yeah, I want to ask you if knew some locksmith. You know that people that know work with the mechanism, you know, where you enter the keys to open the
Oh
door.
yeah, that's right. Oh, that's too bad. I'm so sorry to hear that and what happened to him. And yeah, I know some people to unlock the
Yes,
key.
unlock.
Yeah,
Exactly.
if I can introduce uh Ben to him if it is necessary. That yeah, I think
Yes,
yeah.
sorry, Ken. Can I give our common friends your number of your phone, your mobile phone,
Ah, sure.
so you can speak with him, you know,
Yeah.
and so you can give him the number of this
Um,
locksmith.
okay.
Can I do that?
Yeah. So yeah, and you call him and I call him and
Yes,
I can
yes.
call him. So yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much on behalf of him. You know, in this moment, it's not so really bad news, but you know how it can be uncomfortable, no, in this moment, being out of
Yeah.
his home
Exactly.
without having no the
Okay. Yeah. I think it
yeah.
should be hurry. So I gonna call him right after
Okay,
this call.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll text to you through WhatsApp, and then
Yeah.
you can speak with our common friend.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
and have a nice day,
Ah,
Ken.
thank you. Have a nice day. You too. Bye
And
bye.
please don't forget to send me your book, please.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm gonna send you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Well, that was very good. I loved the situation. In that case, you can say, "Oh, that's a pity. That's oh terrible." So yeah, not a terrible, terrible situation, but definitely some bad news. Who hasn't been locked out of their house? It's a terrible situation. So.
Thank you so much, Becky, for having written the word, because in that moment I didn't remember locksmith.
No, it's fine. I don't think it's a very common word.
Yeah,
Actually, I do know
right.
in Spanish, but not a very common word either. So not a problem. Well, I think we have one more slide here to look at before we finish for today. So let's go down. Here it is. Okay, so hopefully we practiced enough on how to break the news and respond to it appropriately. Time for the test. All right, so well, why don't I go ahead and read these, and those of you who know the correct words can write them in the chat part, okay? So the first one says, I have something to you. What am I missing in that blank? Marco, thank you. Marco wins the race. I have something to tell you. Good. Okay, that's news. Now, this might have a couple different correct answers. What would you personally write in there? That's news. That's great news. Thank you, Ken.
News.
What about that? Exactly. That's actually no, because news. Oops, let me get this here. News is uncountable. Uncountable. Okay, so we can't use the article A. So that's great news for number 2. Yes, is fine for number 3. That's
Pity.
Oh, I heard it. There you go. Good job.
Yes,
Perfect.
I am in Iraq, so we don't have a good network. So sorry if I am not responding, because
Nope, that's
half
okay.
of the listen I didn't hear it.
That's okay. That happens sometimes. It's a good thing that you can hear now, but that happens with technology, so no problem. Great. So for number 4, that's fantastic. Wow, wow. Okay, good. Both of you at the same time. That's perfect. Number 5, I'm so to have to tell you this. I'm so... Actually, I'm so happy to have to tell you this. Okay. 50-50 here. Okay, Marco, I can see. I'm so happy to have to tell you this. I'm so happy to tell you this. I think would make more sense because when you have to do something, it's an obligation. So we're probably looking at a negative situation here, but it's a good thing you said that. Okay, so that's good. All right, let's see number 6. No, well, in a different situation, you were correct in changing the sentence structure. It's really good to make mistakes anyway, so that's perfect. So number 6, you know, I've some great news to tell you. You know, you know what? I've got some great news to tell you. Okay, very good. That's perfect. Now in number 7, I see I've is not spelled correctly. It should be in a capital I. So I've got some bad news to tell you. I'm afraid. Very good, Ken. You were absolutely paying attention. I was like, what is this? So wonderful. And the last one here, I can barely see it. Number 8, not 88. You're not going to, but I've got some wonderful news. You're not going to. I think the first word might start with a B. You're not going to believe, okay, believe me, sure, or believe it, depending on the situation. Okay, so very good. Actually, believe will spell correctly there. Perfect. Well, let me stop screen sharing for a second so I can say hello and goodbye to all of you very shortly or soon. I'm mixing my words. I'm so excited to see everybody today. So, hi, Ismail. I know you were looking for me. I'm here. Okay. So wonderful. So that was a great class. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We had up to 3 viewers today, which I've never seen. So thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. And let's see, I think next class is on Monday, and the topic is interview questions. So this is always a great class to come to. We can always do questions. What are you talking about? What are you doing? What are you blah, blah, blah. So lots of good things here. Okay. Any final comments, Marco? Do you want to say something?
Yes, of course. I just wanted to remember our common friends Ken to send all of us his book as soon as possible.
Oh my gosh, I just read it.
He's going to have to write a book now. Well, wonderful. Well, that is absolutely true. I want to copy myself as well.
Yes.
Ismail, thank you for joining us silently, as always. And Ahmad, nice to meet you and nice to have you in class. Hopefully your sound works better next time, but no problem. So if you have any questions, let me know next class because we are out of time. I'm so sorry to have to tell you we're out of time today. All right, so bad news. Class is over. All right, well, everyone, I hope you have a great day, whatever time is left of it. And hopefully we'll see you on Monday, okay? And actually next Wednesday is a very special day. James will be here.
Yeah. I am so thrilled. I am so excited.
I'm super nervous. I think closer again.
I'm shivering. I'm shivering.
I'm shaking in my boots. I'm a little bit nervous about that one, so we'll see. But as long as he doesn't mention Trump, which I think Thomas said he won't, we should be okay. So
he won't accept any mistake. Oh, no,
right? Hopefully I find something on him. And well, good. Well, we're excited. That's next Wednesday at the same time as today's class. Until then, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Bye, everyone. Bye, Ken. Bye, Ismail. Bye, Hamad. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.